Have you ever noticed how a clean home can change the way your heart feels? Not just your eyes, but your whole spirit. They say cleanliness is next to godliness. But for many seniors, it's deeper than that. It's about peace. It's about clarity. It's about reclaiming a sense of control in a world that sometimes feels like it's moving too fast to catch up with. But here's the surprising truth. Many of us have been cleaning the wrong way for decades. We've carried old habits, hand-me-down routines, and outdated myths that don't serve us anymore. And for seniors, those myths don't just waste energy. They steal joy, time, and sometimes safety. Today, you're going to hear the story of a woman who learned this the hard way. Her name is Eleanor, a 72-year-old retired nurse living in a cozy one-bedroom home in Minnesota. Her story isn't about spotless windows or fancy products. It's about rediscovering freedom, one cleaning myth at a time. Eleanor's story begins on a quiet Tuesday morning. Outside, the sky was gray, heavy with snow. She sat in her kitchen, looking around at the house she had lived in for nearly 40 years. The same wooden dining table, the same floral curtains, the same cupboard stuffed with decades of, "I might need that someday." Her eyes drifted to a corner where old boxes sat untouched since her husband passed away 5 years earlier. She took a deep breath and whispered, "I think it's time." For Eleanor, cleaning wasn't just about dust or clutter. It was about facing memories, the sweet, the painful, and the ones she wasn't ready to let go of. And like many seniors, she had believed certain myths about cleaning that made her journey harder, not lighter. So, as you listen today, think about your own space. Your kitchen counter, your closet, that drawer full of someday things. Because what you're about to learn isn't just about cleaning. It's about emotional freedom. And the first myth Eleanor had to face. That cleaning is just physical work. Eleanor had always believed that keeping a home clean was simply about effort. Mop, sweep, scrub, repeat. But as she got older, she realized something strange. She could spend hours cleaning and still feel uneasy, restless. It wasn't until she read a small article online that said, "Your space mirrors your inner state," that it clicked. She wasn't just cleaning surfaces. She was cleaning emotions. Every corner of dust was tied to a moment, every item to a memory. The process was as emotional as it was physical. She started slowly, one drawer at a time. The first drawer she opened was full of her late husband's old letters and trinkets, postcards from their travels, faded notes from the 1980s. She sat on the floor, holding one of his notes, her eyes welling up. It read, "Don't forget to breathe. Love you always." Eleanor smiled through tears. That day, she learned the first truth. Cleaning isn't about getting rid of things. It's about keeping what still gives your heart peace. "Have you ever felt that tug in your chest?" she'd later say. "When you hold something you can't use anymore but can't throw away either? That's not clutter. That's your heart asking for closure." For many seniors like Eleanor, clutter isn't about laziness. It's about attachment, fear of change, or sometimes guilt. Studies from the National Institute on Aging show that emotional attachment to possessions increases as people age, especially after loss. It's a way of preserving identity and continuity. So, Eleanor learned that real cleaning starts in the heart. She kept the letters that made her smile and let go of the ones that made her ache. When she placed the box back, lighter and tidier, she noticed something new. The room looked brighter, even though the light hadn't changed. That's what emotional freedom feels like, she thought. But soon she stumbled on another myth, one most of us have believed for years. That stronger cleaners mean a cleaner home. She'd always used harsh chemicals. Bleach, ammonia, those sharp-smelling sprays that made her feel like she was really getting the job done. But as she got older, she noticed they gave her headaches, irritated her hands, and made her cough. Still, she believed the myth that, if it doesn't sting your nose, it's not strong enough. Then one day, she read an article from the Environmental Protection Agency about seniors and indoor air quality. It said that air pollutants from cleaning agents can be 2 to 5 times higher indoors than outdoors, especially for older adults with sensitive lungs. That day, she poured her bleach down the drain for the last time. Instead, she started using simple, safe mixtures. white vinegar, baking soda, a few drops of lemon oil. And to her surprise, not only did her home look cleaner, it smelled calmer, felt alive again. Eleanor would laugh about it later, saying, "All these years I thought my house smelled like clean, but it actually smelled like chemicals. I forgot what fresh air smelled like." That's when she realized something beautiful. The cleaner your home smells, the more your body relaxes. And research agrees. Studies from Harvard Health found that pleasant natural scents can lower stress levels by 35%, especially among adults over 60. As she worked through each room, myth by myth, Eleanor started noticing something else. She wasn't just cleaning her house. She was reconnecting with herself. Every step, every wipe of a rag, felt like she was erasing old fears and doubts. By the time she reached the living room, she faced the next myth, one that held her back for years. The belief that it's selfish to throw away gifts. She stared at a porcelain angel sitting on her shelf, a gift from her sister who passed away a decade ago. She never really liked it. Too delicate, too fragile, but she kept it anyway out of guilt. She picked it up, turned it over, and whispered, "Would she want me to keep this out of love, or out of obligation?" Tears rolled down her cheeks. She realized keeping something out of guilt only fills your space with pressure, not peace. She took one last look and placed it in the donation box. "Goodbye, angel," she said softly. "Go bless someone else's home." When she was done, she felt lighter, not just in her hands but in her spirit. And for the first time in years, her shelf looked like her. It reflected her personality, her simplicity, her freedom. If you're watching this right now and nodding quietly, maybe you understand Eleanor's feeling. Have you ever kept something because you were afraid of what it would mean to let it go? Tell me in the comments below. What's one item you're holding on to but ready to release? Weeks passed. Eleanor's home was transforming, but something else was changing too. Her energy. She had always believed that cleaning was exhausting, that it drained her. But slowly, she realized that when done right, cleaning could actually energize her. And that brings us to the next myth she broke. That you have to clean everything in one day. This one, she said, was the reason she avoided deep cleaning for years. She'd look around, see the entire house and think, "I'll never finish." So she didn't start. But then she learned something from her neighbor, a younger woman who worked as a professional organizer. The woman told her, "Eleanor, the secret isn't to clean everything. It's to clean one corner until it feels like peace." That phrase stayed with her. So she began doing just that, one corner at a time. Some days it was just a drawer, other days a single shelf. And each time she finished, she celebrated with a cup of tea and quiet gratitude. After a few weeks, she looked around and realized she had cleaned her entire home, not through exhaustion but through consistency. Research supports this too. A University of California study found that seniors who break tasks into small, manageable goals are more likely to maintain independence and mental health. Small wins build momentum, and momentum builds joy. By now, Eleanor's home wasn't just clean. It was peaceful. She started inviting friends again, baking cookies for her grandkids, sitting by her window with sunlight dancing on her spotless glass. But she had more myths to break. And each one would teach her something powerful about life, aging, and peace. The morning light touched the lace curtains, tracing golden patterns across the floor. Eleanor stood in her living room, a small duster in hand, watching particles of sunlight float like tiny spirits in the air. She smiled. "Even the dust looks peaceful now," she whispered. She had come a long way. But one habit still lingered in her mind, a myth she'd believed since childhood, that a clean home must look perfect. That spotless floors and polished furniture meant success. That tidiness equaled worth. She thought of her mother, a woman who polished silver until midnight, who never sat down if there was a wrinkle in the tablecloth. Eleanor had inherited that same restlessness, that invisible pressure to keep everything just so. But now, at 72, she began to question it. Because the truth was, perfection had exhausted her. It had made her home a place of tension instead of comfort. One day, while folding laundry, She caught herself smoothing a towel for the third time. She stopped, looked around, and laughed. "Who am I doing this for?" she said aloud. No one was watching. There were no guests, no visitors judging her corners or her cushions. It was just her and her piece. She let the towel stay imperfect, a little rumpled, a little real. And in that small act, she felt something shift. It was as though she had given herself permission to live again, to breathe without guilt. Later that week, she came across an article from Psychology Today that confirmed what she had felt. Perfectionism in older adults is closely linked to stress, fatigue, and even depression. The study said that letting go of perfection is a sign not of decline, but of emotional maturity. Eleanor smiled. "So it's okay to have a wrinkle or two, even in my towels." That night, she lit a candle, sat by the freshly dusted table, and wrote in her journal, "A home should be lived in, not performed." As she wrote, she realized something deeper. The myth of perfection wasn't just about her home. It was about her life. For years, she had tried to keep everything in order. Her emotions, her memories, her grief. But life, like cleaning, is never perfectly neat. It's messy, and that's okay. She wanted to tell other seniors this truth. "Don't waste your golden years polishing what no longer matters," she said softly. "Polish your joy instead." If you're listening right now, maybe you know that feeling, the constant effort to make everything flawless. But let me tell you, nobody remembers the shine on your floor. They remember the warmth of your welcome. Take a moment right now, look around your room. Is there something that doesn't have to be perfect to make you smile? Tell us in the comments. Your story might help someone else let go too. As the days passed, Eleanor's confidence grew. Cleaning no longer felt like a chore. It felt like a conversation with her soul. But soon she stumbled on another myth, one that had always made her uneasy, that you need expensive tools to clean well. For decades, commercials had convinced her that newer meant better. The latest vacuum, the strongest spray, the smartest mop. Her closet was full of half-used bottles and gadgets that promised miracles but delivered frustration. One afternoon, while cleaning her kitchen floor, her old mop snapped. She stared at it, sighed, and decided to try something different. She wrapped a soft towel around a broom, dipped it in warm water and vinegar, and began to glide it gently over the tiles. To her surprise, it worked beautifully. She laughed. Who needs gadgets when you have a little creativity? She began simplifying everything. Fewer products, fewer steps, more intention. And she discovered that the simpler her tools, the calmer her mind felt. There was something soothing about using her hands, about being part of the process instead of relying on noise and buttons. There's science behind that too. Studies from Stanford University show that repetitive, mindful actions like hand cleaning or organizing can reduce cortisol levels by up to 23%. It's a form of quiet therapy, a rhythm that calms both the body and the mind. As Eleanor wiped her counters, she whispered, "Maybe this is my meditation." From then on, she called her cleaning time her quiet sessions. She'd play gentle jazz, brew chamomile tea, and let the scent of lemon fill the air. She moved slowly, intentionally, grateful for the strength in her hands. Cleaning had become her sanctuary. But one morning, she faced the hardest myth yet, the belief that once a home is clean, you're done. Eleanor smiled at that one. Because after a lifetime of cleaning, she knew better. A clean home is not a finish line. It's a living rhythm. 3 weeks after she had organized everything, she noticed clutter slowly returning. A magazine here, a sweater there. For a moment, she felt discouraged. "I just did this," she muttered. But then she realized something profound. Life always creates a little mess. The secret isn't to fight it, it's to dance with it. So she made peace with the cycle. Each Saturday, she'd spend 20 minutes doing what she called grace cleaning. No pressure, no list, just awareness. She'd walk through her home, touching what needed care, whispering gratitude for what she had. That's when cleaning stopped being about control and started being about connection. "Every time I tidy," she said, "I'm thanking this house for sheltering me." Her story spread quietly among her friends. One of them, Marjorie, 68, began doing the same and noticed she felt less lonely afterward. She said, "It's like my home talks back. When it's tidy, it hugs me." Experts have noticed this too. The American Psychological Association found that seniors who maintain light, regular household routines report higher life satisfaction and lower rates of loneliness. It's not the act of cleaning that heals. It's the sense of care that comes with it. Have you ever noticed that too? How a small act, washing a cup, straightening a photo frame, can make you feel a bit more alive. Tell us in the comments if cleaning has ever comforted you in a hard moment. You never know who might need your words today. Weeks turned into months, and Eleanor's home had become a reflection of peace. Her friends would step in and whisper, "It feels different here. Not cleaner but calmer." There was a lightness in the air, the kind that only comes when burdens are lifted, not just from shelves but from hearts. But there were still two myths she wanted to break before calling her home complete. The first, that cleaning means doing it alone. For years she'd refused help. "I can handle it," she'd insist, even when her knees ached or her back protested. But one spring morning, while reaching for a shelf, she felt a sharp twinge and had to sit down. She realized then that independence doesn't mean isolation. Her granddaughter, Anna, offered to come help one weekend. Eleanor hesitated, embarrassed to accept. But when Anna arrived, they turned on some old 1960s music and began dusting, laughing, and sharing stories. By sunset, the house sparkled, and so did Eleanor's heart. She realized that inviting someone to help isn't a sign of weakness. It's an invitation for connection. A study from Harvard's Aging Institute supports this, showing that shared domestic activities strengthen emotional bonds and improve mood in older adults. As Eleanor wiped her hands and hugged Anna goodbye, she thought, maybe the cleanest homes are the ones filled with love, not polish. That night, she looked around and whispered a quiet thank you to her family, her memories, and even her dust, for reminding her what matters. The last myth she faced would change her life entirely, and it wasn't about cleaning products, routines, or organization. It was the belief that cleaning is a chore instead of a gift. For most of her life, she had seen cleaning as duty, something to finish so she could move on to what really mattered. But now, standing in her glowing home, she realized the act itself was sacred. It was gratitude in motion. She remembered something a hospice patient once told her years ago when she was still a nurse. The woman had said, "I wish I had appreciated folding laundry. It meant I still had strength in my hands." Eleanor smiled, tears filling her eyes. "Now I understand." Each sweep, each wipe, each gentle rearrangement became a prayer of thanks. For another morning, another breath, another chance to care for what she loved. She no longer rushed through chores. She lingered, noticing the texture of fabric, the scent of soap, the hum of quiet music. Every moment became meaningful. One afternoon, her neighbor stopped by and said, "Eleanor, how do you keep your house so peaceful?" Eleanor chuckled softly. "I stopped cleaning for perfection. I started cleaning for peace." As Eleanor stood by her window that evening, the sun resting low and golden, she took a deep breath and smiled. Her home wasn't spotless. A few papers still on the counter, a cushion slightly off-center, but it felt alive. She had learned that true cleanliness isn't about removing dust. It's about removing the pressure that steals your joy. It's not about how shiny your home looks, but how peaceful your heart feels when you walk through it. So, if you're listening right now, dear friend, remember this. You don't have to chase perfection to live beautifully. You don't need the latest products to feel accomplished. And you don't need to do it all alone. Cleaning can be your quiet therapy, your gratitude in motion, your conversation with peace. 'Cause when your space breathes, you breathe. Eleanor whispered one last time as she turned off the light. "This isn't about cleaning my house anymore. It's about resetting my spirit." And that's what Reset for Seniors is all about. Rediscovering joy, calm, and freedom one small habit at a time. So, take a deep breath, smile at your space, and know this truth. You are not behind. You are simply resetting.